Hi, y'all. I'm Joanna. Have you ever been so badly deceived by someone that it made you question your entire life? Where you wanted to help someone so desperately, but they turned on you and betrayed you? Well, this happened to me not too long ago. Because I was in a relationship with a criminal from prison. I know this might seem crazy and very stupid, but you can say that the problem started with the way I was raised. You see, I'm a nice girl. Too nice, some might say. My mom always taught me that God is found in helping others, and I truly believed that. I mostly learned this from seeing how my mom treated my father. The thing is, he wasn't the best husband. He got drunk all the time and made a lot of mistakes. Despite her struggles with him, she always said that he had problems and he needed help. She wanted to fix him. Like mother, like daughter, they say. Which I used to laugh at, but before long, I discovered that I was just like her. And actually, kinda worse. Everything began the day my best friend Debbie was visiting for a girls' night. We were talking about dating, and we decided to look up some dating websites for fun. And that's when we stumbled across something that seemed interesting. We found an inmate dating website in prison. We laughed about it, but we were also super curious. We wanted to explore it more, so we looked up some inmates on the website, and surprisingly, they seemed cool and pretty attractive. Especially this one guy named Billy. I felt something when I saw his eyes, as if his gaze was piercing right through me. He was 18, like me, and was incarcerated for being a part of a group of hooligans that caused a ruckus in a soccer game a few times. The first two times it happened, he just got reprimanded, but on the third time, he was convicted and sentenced for rehabilitation in prison. Debbie and I decided to create a profile and send him a message just to see what might happen. But we didn't get any reply. We kept on looking at other profiles too until Debbie decided it was late and she had to leave. Days went by and I forgot about the whole thing. Until one morning, a letter in the mail came for me. It was from the prison. I hid it quickly so my parents wouldn't see it and I went up to my room to read it. The letter was from Billy. He wrote back saying that he would love to get to know me. Wow, that was such an insane moment. A rush of adrenaline went through my body when I thought about writing back to him. I should have forgotten about it all after Debbie had left, but I couldn't help myself. I was curious about this person. Quickly, I wrote him a letter and sent it, and shortly after, I received another reply. I felt excited each time I saw a new envelope in my mailbox, and before I knew it, I was hooked. He was a real person with real feelings, and soon enough, I felt like Billy and I had an amazing connection. I don't exactly remember how it happened, but things escalated quickly, and before I knew it, I was on a roller coaster of emotions. It felt so intense and intimate, this bond that we'd formed. We shared everything, including our deepest secrets. The way he expressed himself through words made me so happy. I would give him advice and he would be grateful. I would sneak out and hide during work just so I could read his messages and write back to him. After a few months, he asked me to meet him in prison since he got visitation privileges for good behavior. I hesitated. I mean, prison is pretty scary, so I declined his offer. But later on, I felt like it was a step that I needed to take. However, I didn't tell him about it because I decided I wanted to go there and give him the biggest surprise of his life. Before our meeting, I was a nervous wreck. I dressed up in my favorite outfit, a white dress with little yellow flowers on it. I put a bow in my hair and made it bouncy and shiny, and put just a smudge of makeup and lip gloss on. In my hands, I carried the small cake I baked the night before, his favorite kind of cake, moist and delicious with poppy seeds. When I got to the prison's visitor entrance, I was a little shocked by the guards. A large female guard searched me. She patted my body all over, looked inside my bags, and even poked the cake with a stick. All kinds of thoughts were running through my head, and many times, I couldn't believe I was doing this. When I asked her what was going on, she said, "It's protocol, ma'am, just making sure there's no contraband inside. You'll be surprised how they smuggle things inside here." Then I heard the most disturbing thing. One of the guards said to the other one, "That Billy is a regular Brad Pitt." I couldn't make out the rest of the sentence, but it sounded like second girl or the girls. I decided to ignore them. They didn't know my Billy the way I did. Then I went into the visiting area with the tables and saw him sitting there waiting for me. He didn't look at me, but I saw him. He was even more beautiful than in his pictures. He smiled with his pearly white teeth, short dark hair, muscular body, and piercing blue eyes. Then my heart stopped and I almost fell. He was looking at another girl that had just come back to the table and sat down opposite him. They held hands and they were smiling at each other. She even looked like me. I felt so violated. It felt like the world was about to collapse on top of me. I felt so sick that I had to sit down. One of the guards saw me almost falling and grabbed my hand. I heard her as if from a distance, muffled. "Are you okay, ma'am? Ma'am, do you need help?" I just need a minute to sit down. It was a mistake to come here. I need to sit down, I mumbled. I heard one of the guards saying, "These inmates are scammers, can't be trusted." After I'd been sitting for a few moments, I finally caught my breath. I got up, gave my cake to the nice guard lady, and ran out of there as quickly as I could. I cried in the car all the way home. It was the most terrible day of my life. How could I have been so stupid? How did I ever think this would work? Why am I even surprised? I mean, I should have known that could happen. I was dating a freaking prisoner. But I was too innocent to know better, and I just wanted to see the good in people, the way my mother had taught me. But in reality, I had just fallen for a criminal who had lots of free time on his hands. I should have woken up from the spell he'd put me under and saw him for what he really was: manipulative, cold-hearted, and selfish. Only then did I start recalling how he'd sometimes got my name wrong when we spoke, how sometimes he would ask me if I remembered something he'd said, but he definitely never said those things to me. It all makes sense now. I was just too blinded by my feelings for him to notice at the time. The important thing, though, is that we all have to stay vigilant and be able to separate fact from fiction, or we might end up getting our hearts broken over and over again. Did you like my story? Please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more.